Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the Planes, Trains, and Comic Books channel. My name's Matt, and today we're going to review Superman Lost #1. But before we get into that, if you guys would mind sharing, subscribing, commenting, it really helps me out and lets me know what you guys want to see more of. So, with that being said, let's get straight into it. All right, we got the cover here for Superman Lost #1. It is a DC comic, and it is by Priest, Pagulayan, Paz, and Cox. And we start off with a police chase that ends with this woman's car being thrown off of a cliff. And the woman in this car is actually just an innocent bystander. But it turns out she works for a senator, and this is his car. And as Superman catches it, the trunk explodes and a bunch of money starts pouring out. And this, of course, makes the story interesting politically, so Lois Lane is starting to write an article about it. So when Superman goes home that night, we get to see him and Lois's relationship and how much they love each other. And after they're done making loves, Lois is back on her laptop writing her story, and Superman gets called away. And she ends up falling asleep at the keyboard, and hours later, she's woken up by a weird noise. And when she comes out to check on it, she sees that Superman is there. And as she's talking to him, she realizes that he's not talking back, he's not moving. So as she goes over to him to see what's going on, he doesn't move or do anything, he just stands there. So she starts to get worried, and then finally he does speak, and he says, 20 years. And that's where I'm going to stop it. I don't want to spoil anything else. So I'd never heard anything about this series before it came out. I just saw it was written by Christopher Priest, and I generally like his stuff, so I figured I'd check it out. And you might have seen it on the cover, but this is a 10-issue limited series. And the premise for this comic is pretty interesting, where Superman has been lost for 20 years, but it doesn't seem like that to anybody else. It's just him. So it's about him dealing with having to have been alone for 20 years and not seeing his wife or friends or anything. So it feels like this comic might be diving into some things like PTSD or dealing with trauma, but that's just a theme I kind of picked up on. It's not really out there in this first issue, at least. And mostly I was just intrigued about what happened with Superman and how come it's been 20 years for him, but not for anybody else. And that's what this first issue is. It's just kind of a setup for that mystery. I thought the art was pretty good. It wasn't anything that I was blown away by, but it flowed really well, and it was generally just good, solid art. So overall, I think if you're a Superman fan, you'll probably like this one. I have no idea if this is in continuity or what's going on with the dawn of the DCU and everything, or if this is just a one-off limited series that's not tied to anything. That is the feel that it has, though, and I kind of hope it's that because it kind of just seems like it's going to be a fun story rather than tied to all this baggage. And I'm definitely here for that story. I thought it was a really fun mystery, and I'm interested to see what exactly happened and how did Superman get lost for 20 years without anybody else having that same time loss. So I'm going to give this book a 3.5 out of 5. I think it was overall solid, and if you have any interest in Superman but aren't reading the continuity books, this is probably a good pickup because it's going to be 10 issues, it's going to be one whole story, and Christopher Priest is a solid writer, so I have faith that it'll be a solid story overall. So if you saw anything you like, definitely go pick that up at your local comic book store, and we will see y'all in the next one.